Hi Team Value, JJ here with the Art of Value Alibaba Stock Edition. It's a dedicated Alibaba stock channel, Alibaba all the time. Now I've started this because of the main channel, the Art of Value. There were too many Alibaba videos, but there was a good audience for it. So I've moved them here so I can do more Alibaba videos, and it's just 100% Alibaba, maybe some other China stocks. But let's get into it. This is a good, apt video to start off with because Jack Ma has written another internal memo. I reported on a memo that he did a few months ago out of the blue, just internally, but this one he's talked more about Alibaba and the future, and is he hinting at a comeback? We'll see what he has to say. This is not translated, obviously, you can see here, but I think I found a translation for it, a decent one. So let's get into what he said and let's see some of the headlines associated with it as well. Let's go. Okay, let's see some of the news headlines, see how it's being reported. We can see here Alibaba's shares jump as Jack Ma hints at return. Is he hinting at a return? We'll take a look at that. And we can see here that the stock in Hong Kong and China jumped 4.89% in the day of trading there, which is nearly 5%. It's the biggest leap it's had in one day for a while, I think. And we can see here in the pre-market, as I'm recording this now, it's up 3%. So it's looking for a good day, but anything can happen during the day. The inflation numbers are coming out, so that might change things, but let's see what happens. And we can see here more headlines. Jack Ma steps into mistakes brouhaha to boost Alibaba's morale, urges staff to embrace change and prepare for AI to upend e-commerce. Now they talk about the brouhaha over mistakes. Now Chairman Joe Tsai did a video interview, which I haven't reported on. I'm going to do a video on that if you want to see that later on. He did a long interview of over 30 minutes where he talked about previous mistakes, and that has caused a bit of controversy, and Jack Ma has felt like he wants to say something, obviously, in a fairly long internal memo. Now this one says Jack Ma chairs Alibaba's latest overhaul plan in rare memo. So he's boosting morale there. And indeed, we can see here Jack Ma calls Alibaba staff to welcome change in morale boosting letter. So he's being very supportive. Is he hinting at a comeback? We'll see if there's any evidence of that whatsoever. And the Wall Street Journal here, Jack Ma praises Alibaba's leadership restructuring in rare memo. In March last year, Alibaba announced a restructuring that would split the group into 6 independently run companies. And we can see there they've cancelled IPOs. You know, there's been a lot of changes here, and Jack Ma has stepped in to say something, being very supportive, and especially to staff, as we'll see. Now, if you're getting value out of this very first video on the channel so far, I'd really appreciate it if you hit that like button to help the algorithm to spread it to more people, or even to find the channel to help it out. 0 subscribers, 0 likes. You might be the first to do that on the channel. Okay, so let's get into the memo itself here. On Reddit, I found a translation that was done through ChatGPT, so it's probably not perfect, but we'll get the gist of it. Now, Mel China has helpfully written a short summary here. Jack Ma says he was prompted to write now since there was a lot of questions following Joe Tsai's admission of mistakes in the recent interview. And as I said, I'll report on that interview perhaps in the next video. My view is that Tsai was just being a Western-style leader in a country that is uncomfortable with public admissions of mistakes. He talked about confronting mistakes, making changes, and innovating. He talked about the internet and AI changing quickly and how it is important to be innovative. He talked about finding new optimism in the management team that recently came together and their ability to make decisions for the changing future as the company has done in the past. He expressed his optimism for the future of Alibaba, so expressing support for the current management. And of course, he's bought back shares. He and Joe Tsai have both bought shares themselves, bought more shares, which is another show of confidence. I made a post about that on the main channel. I think I've summarized the most important points. Mel China says eventually we'll get a proper translation. And somebody's posted a translation from ChatGPT. As I said, it's probably not perfect. It's good to see what Jack Ma wrote himself, so I think it's important to go through this. I want to go through this Because if he's hinting at coming back, we want to see if there's any signs of that here. Many people have sent me videos of Joe's interview these days. Some said to me that this video is a bold confession of our past mistakes with a large scale. I'd say that was on a large scale. Yes, thanks to Joe's courage and responsibility, making mistakes is not scary. No one is free from mistakes. What's truly scary is not knowing, not admitting, and not correcting mistakes. In the past 25 years, Alibaba has achieved many successes and innovations, but we have also made countless mistakes. In the next 77 years, we will continue to make mistakes along the way. So Jack Ma's always talked way into the future about Alibaba, so that's why he's referring to so far in the future. Facing problems calmly is not to deny the past, but to responsibly seek the path to the future. So he's talking about the future of Alibaba. That could be seen as a hint that he wants to get more involved. Without blaming the past, without complaining about others, the times have changed and we must keep up with them. We must not only bravely admit and promptly correct yesterday's problems, but also reform for the future. This is the reason why we keep moving forward. Last year, I wrote on the intranet, this is the other memo that I reported on earlier, Alibaba will change, Alibaba will transform. In the past year, and he mentions 2 executives there have led Alibaba through a series of future-oriented reforms with admirable courage and wisdom. The most fundamental change this year is not to pursue KPIs, but to recognize ourselves and return to the track of customer value. We have performed surgery on the problems of a large company, transforming from a slow decision-making organization back to one that prioritizes efficiency and the market, making the company simple and agile again. So talking through changes there. I wonder how much he's talking to Joe Tsai about this. It's almost like he's, being a co-leader in the background here. The way that he's talking like a leader for sure. The new management team has faced problems and the future head on, believing in young people, fully empowering young teams and making decisive and clear choices about what we need and what we don't. Our idealistic aspirations and mission of the making it easy to do business anywhere in the world will never change. But in the past year, the new management team has made various changes, not only breaking through yesterday's solidified strategies, but also building the future Alibaba. So definitely morale boosting here. It's supporting the management, supporting the employees, and talking about the future, most importantly. From B2B to Taobao to Alipay to Alibaba Cloud, and those are the 2 big areas, Cloud and Taobao, China e-commerce, which haven't been growing very fast, that they really need to get going there. Our innovation has never been about pursuing higher profits, but also striving to survive in a rapidly changing era. So that the government would kind of like to hear that, I think, about, not just pursuing higher profits, although they definitely want to do that. Our innovation is not about changing others, but about changing ourselves. Our innovation has never been about surpassing competitors, but about catching up to the future. So that's good talk, I think, for the government to hear. He's obviously, part of the reason that he disappeared or left was because he spoke out too much and the government did not like it. So different kind of language here. Innovation is not about following trends. It tests our true survival skills. It requires you to fundamentally change our perception, constantly challenging yourself and do things that others dare not, do not want to, and have never done before. In this area of tremendous technological change, a span of 3 to 5 years is like a century in the internet field, enough to bring about earth-shaking changes. He's hinting at AI here already. I believe that in 3 years, e-commerce will definitely not be the hottest topic as it is today. What's important is not to catch up with today's trends, but to think about how to improve the customer experience of tomorrow's e-commerce. The AI era has begun. Everything is just getting started, and we are right on time. So being really supportive here, being It's like a pep talk to the team here. He's talking in a very motivational way here, like a leader. This year, amidst numerous doubts and pressures internally and externally, I saw a strong and brave Alibaba team being born. When talking about reform and innovation, the worst thing is to turn them into slogans. Reform and innovation are painful because reform requires sacrifice, and innovation is gradually achieved through perseverance. We think about him building the company up from scratch there. There were quite a few co-founders. Joe Tsai is a co-founder there, so they've known each other for a long time. Organizational changes and restructuring involve every employee. Now, Joe Tsai actually talked about this in the interview. I have watched the interview, but I haven't made a video on it yet. He talked about going way back when he joined the company. He talked about when they were working hard there all night, and he saw toothbrushes in the office there. They're obviously working all night, pulling all-nighters all the time. Thank you to all Alibaba employees for their efforts and dedication this year, and thank you to you and your families for choosing to believe and persevere amidst constant changes and decisions, even IPO-related ones. I salute you. So the IPO-related ones where they were going to go out with IPOs, but they've pulled back because of macro conditions aren't great. Terrible for IPOs, really, and not great in the US as well. There haven't been many IPOs. Reddit itself, this is on Reddit being pretty much, one of the few this year. But he is really talking like he's talking as a shareholder. Is he talking as kind of a shadow executive here? It's your perseverance that brought Alibaba back to the track of healthy growth. Well, healthy growth, it's sort of low growth. They want to see more growth. Investors want to see more growth than that's going on. And those two big areas, cloud and China e-commerce, not growing very much at all. But other areas growing really well, as I suggested in videos that I made on the main channel, just in the last couple of days. The international areas, units been growing really well, logistics growing really well, other smaller ones growing really well. So it's just these big ones that they need to get back into action. The road of reform and innovation will never be accompanied by applause because we are changing our favorite bad habits and vested interests. I'm not sure the translation is too good there. The road is long, but we won't be alone on the journey. In the future, we need to be more proactive and prompt in changing ourselves, and we need greater efforts to reform to build a vibrant future Alibaba. Come on, Alibaba, wind. I'm not sure if that's a Chinese saying, wind there. Does that mean forward, onward? I suggest I'd say that would say there. So that's the memo, a long kind of memo letter there, really supportive, really motivational. So in terms of hinting at a comeback, there's nothing really there that hints too much at it, but he's definitely being motivational there. And if he was allowed to come back, you kind of get the feeling that he'd like to and step in and have a bigger role here. And this has boosted the share price. So, the government has actually said that they want buybacks. I did a video about buybacks, increased buybacks to help the share price. The government said that they want, Chinese companies to do buybacks to boost the share price. Do we get the feeling that they might want Jack Ma to come back to control things and help Alibaba out, the crown jewel in the Chinese stocks and the Chinese internet companies, to boost it? Things are very different now than when he was kind of kicked out or, stepped aside or pushed aside because the economy's changed and things are on the down. So it's almost like they could do with this help to help not just Chinese companies, but China in general, the stability of the economy at this point, because real estate's not looking good. Tech companies, need a real boost. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens from here. What do you think? Do you think Jack Ma's going to come back? Let me know in the comments. You might be the first commenter here. We've got 0 subscribers on this channel, 0 views. So this is the first video. So do subscribe if you would like to see more of this. Now I'm going to put a link here to a video of what YouTube thinks that you in particular should watch next. So go and see that now if you want to. And thanks to everybody for watching this very first video on the channel. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you want to see more, and click notifications. And I'll see you in the next one.